14 videos to go, and then the session will hopefully be over, and we're going to have to figure out where we go from here. This morning in Business and Labor Committee, we heard a study resolution to study workers' compensation. It'll be interesting to see the outcome of that. On the floor today, we passed some really good things. House Joint Resolution 20 will study the Office of Public Defender and their funding. Hopefully get those men and women some help. Senate Bill 84 helps healthcare providers work together as teams so that they can keep us healthy instead of just preventing illness, or not preventing, but instead of just treating illness or treating sickness. It's the future of healthcare, and it's exciting that we're taking these steps in Montana. Senate Bill 348 mandates that schools adopt safety plans, something that my school has already done, and I think is pretty commonplace, but probably makes us all feel better to make sure schools are adopting safety plans. But it also requires that each school review and update their weapons policy annually. House Bill 277 is a bill that I've talked about before that tweaks our term limits a little bit. When I had talked about it before, it said that instead of serving 8 years in the House and 8 years in the Senate, you could serve a total of 16, whether they were 16 in one house or any combination of the two. And it came back with Senate amendments strengthening the term limits part, saying that you cannot serve any more than 16 in your entire life. The way it read before, if enough time had passed, then you might be able to go back. So since we have been so successful, I thought I would try to tell you what is coming up. The Medicaid expansion bill from the Senate, Senate Bill 395, is going to be heard in Human Services on Monday at 3 p.m. So we'll see. Send your messages if you'd like about the Medicaid expansion bill to the Human Services Committee. The pay plan is also in the Senate committee right now. You know that it got cut by the House committee, and they, I think, are going to be taking executive action on it tomorrow in the Senate, and it'll be interesting to see whether they restore the funding like the employees have asked them to do or not. I believe they will want to cut it further. There were bills that passed out of the Senate while the Democrats were protesting. So remember last Friday, a senator stood up to be recognized according to the rules, and he was not recognized, so he raised his voice to be recognized and was still ignored, which is breaking the rules in the Senate, because the rules say that you will be recognized if you stand. Well, that escalated so that the senators were being louder and louder and louder, demanding to be heard, and they just continued to be ignored while bills were voted on third reading. So none of the Democrats voted on any of these bills on third reading. We're starting to see these come into our committees. And for the most part, they're just going to pass or fail. We're just going to vote on them, have hearings on them, because they are in our House now, so it's our job to deal with them. A couple of these, though, were referendums, and one in particular is a referendum, so it would put it on the ballot to change same-day voter registration. Excuse me, not change it, but get rid of same-day voter registration. It's fine to put this to the ballot, except for the language doesn't say anything about same-day voter registration. So that's what you would be voting on, but the language would not actually say that. And these bills were brought in their Senate committees with only 3 hours of notice, and by law, under public meeting notices, they're supposed to have 24 hours. So I think that those things would have been challenged in court anyway, and I think that they will still be challenged in court, but it's something to keep a really close eye on as these particular referendums now go through the House committees. Thank you so much for all of the overwhelming support. Now is a really good time to contact your representative and thank them for standing up for your Montana values. We're doing the best that we can, and keep paying attention and getting involved. At the end here, I'm going to show you a picture of my husband's first bronze sculpture. I get to have it on my desk with me for the rest of the session, and a picture of Under Sheriff Skuletich and I, he's our Butte Under Sheriff, and a picture of the Office of the Commissioner of Political Practices. I went to turn in my campaign or constituent services finance paperwork and was expecting this big government building. It's a house, and they would like to have a nicer building than this, but no one wants to give them any more money. And then finally, you're going to see our guests in the house today were the Bozeman Hawthorne Elementary Choir, 107, I think, students who came in and sang about singing together. Their words of their song were, "If we sing together, we will forget hatred." It was really moving, and I think a really beautiful message for kids and for adults. And good night.